Snooker Loopy, not a we, me and him and them and me. We'll show you what we can do with a load of balls of the snooker cue. Pot the red and screw back for the yellow, green, brown, blue, pink and black. Snooker Loopy, not a we. We're all Snooker Loopy. Cheers, boys.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Snooker Loopy podcast. My name is Tom Mayhew and I'm joined as always by Joe Winky Hannard.
Good evening, Hazel. Good evening, everybody at home. And how are you doing, Tom? It's been a little bit since we've done a podcast. I feel like we open every podcast saying that. It's been quite a slow 2025 so far, but it's about to very much hot up, isn't it, to say the least?
Yeah, we've been easing ourselves into the season very, very slowly. You know, me and Joe have both had other things going on, and we've been doing things away from the bays. But I mean, April is when it's proper snooker season.
Yeah,
I know it is all snooker season. Obviously, we're in the season of snooker, but April is when it's I don't know. It's like Christmas for snooker fans, isn't it?
It certainly is. You've got big tournaments one after the other. I think. Actually, when the UK Championship starts in November, that really is the sort of sign that the snooker winter is in the past, and we've got through those dark nights, and we're ready to go with the positivity of the rest of the snooker season. Because you've got the UK Championships in quick succession. You've got the Riyadh Masters. The Masters, German Masters, and then obviously Welsh Open, big historical one, the Players Series, and then the big one, the World Snooker Championship, of course. So really exciting, and I think it is going to be possibly one of the most open World Championships there's been for a long, long time. We'll obviously talk about that a lot more in our next podcast, which will be the big World Championship preview, but we've got the small matter of the qualifiers to talk about today, haven't we? A little bit later on as well.
Well, yeah, just before then, we'll talk about the events since the last podcast.
Yeah.
Of course, magical man Stuart Bingham managed to reach a final. He beats Judd Trump in the semis. Incredible. Yeah. Then he didn't really turn up in the final, but it was fine. It was fine.
Well, it was 10-0, wasn't it, in the final, unfortunately, and... wasn't a great showing from Stuart Bingham, but Neil Robertson winning another ranking event. He's had a decent season all in all, even though I think you still look at Neil Robertson in the draw and think he can be beaten by anybody these days. He's still ended up having a reasonably good season.
My favourite bit about the final was that despite losing 10-0, there was a lovely bit after the trophy presentation where Robertson was doing the thing, lifting it up and kissing the trophy, and then Bingham takes it off him and goes like that and parades the trophy around to the audience as they clap.
Yeah. Just crazy, isn't it? Was that the World Grand Prix? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Hong Kong.
Obviously quite a historical trophy as well. That old jug.
Yep, and the home favourite, Judd Trump.
Well, of course, and I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about Judd Trump at some point in today's episode, but seems to have gone off the boil a little bit. But no, it was good to see Stuart Bingham in a final. I think maybe this time 12 months ago, I think I backed him to not qualify for the World Championship, and we were talking about maybe Stuart Bingham is done, but he ended up getting to the semi-final of the Worlds. And
he'll never be done, Joe.
Well, yeah, he got the semi-final of the Worlds, and he's finalist at the World Grand Prix. So, yeah, in decent nick, and definitely going to be a handful for anybody in the World qualifiers, I think.
Do you know what, mate? I think he's got a new hot tub.
Yeah, he absolutely has. But then we had the Players Championship. Another rematch of the big rivalry at the moment, I guess. Kairen Wilson versus Judd Trump went all the way to a final frame decider, didn't it? And Kairen Wilson getting over the line in the end. But just, I'll touch on this a little bit later as well, speaking about his Tour Championship performance. But Judd's playing a lot of odd shots at the moment, I find. I'm not suggesting he's deliberately losing. That would be That would be going a step too far. But he's playing very loose. And just when it gets to crunch time in matches, he seems to be playing some very strange shots that are sort of do or die and very high, very likely to go wrong. Yeah, and his positional play was all over the place in a couple of the recent tournaments, and just interesting to see, considering how much he has sort of dominated snooker almost the last couple of seasons, that he seems to be coming through the other side of that purple patch.
Well, he did after the final against Kairen. He was complaining about the balls. He was saying the balls weren't right, they weren't rolling properly, or something like that. I mean, you've spent more time on the table than me, Joe. Have you ever had a complaint about your balls after a match?
Well, yeah. I've certainly not complained about my balls. I don't know about anybody else, but yeah, it's just a strange one. And you do get certain players that seem to get their neckers in a twist about conditions. And Judd Trump is very much one of them. We've said it a lot of times, and I think it is probably the main reason why we don't particularly like Judd Trump is inability to admit gracious defeat in terms of that his opponent was just better on the day.
Yeah. I mean, there is no way that Judd would have picked up a trophy 10-0 down and done that for a joke. Do you know what I mean? He would have stormed up. He would have been out of the arena.
I would have been surprised if he'd done his losers interview, to be honest. So
yeah, he's not the most gracious loser. I know people say that about most top players, but I think Judd particularly. Most top players at least try and give a bit of credit to their opponent, and Judd doesn't always seem to do that.
I think snooker's a very unique sport in that most players, I think, are very gracious in defeat and victory, actually. I don't think there's a lot of players that come across vain when they're being interviewed. There's a couple of exceptions. Obviously, you think about that 2020 semi-final defeat for Mark Selby against Ronnie O'Sullivan, when he came out and was saying Ronnie was being disrespectful. That was a strange comment. It was a strange time. But you tend not to have too many outbursts from players, certainly behind the microphone, particularly, straight after a match.
The only recent outburst I can think of, did you see Matt Selt?
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Selt is just an interesting character, isn't he? I think he's very outspoken. He's very aggressive at times, and I think possibly is one of those players that you could describe as thinking that he is better than he actually is.
If you've not seen it at home, just search Matt Selt outburst. It's just him losing. I think he thinks he loses to a fluke to Artemis Zizins, the young Latvian, and he actually sits there and goes like like that, and like a really quite horrible noise, and you can hear him slamming his cue, and the ref has to go, Matt, calm down, please, as like his mum or something. It's bizarre.
Well, It's the fact that after the handshakes and he's heading down the corridor and he's still like kicking off, and the ref shouts after him and Matt, stop it, and he's like, shut up.
He's like, shut up, you're not my real dad.
Shut up, Mom. Yeah.
I'd like to think they'd have to send Dennis. They have to send Dennis in and go, right, when Dennis is home, we're going to send him
Matt, we can't be doing that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis. I just got upset.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is. Kairen ended up winning the Players' Championship, which I believe was his fourth ranking event of the season that he's won.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously helped by the fact there's more ranking titles now than ever, but I definitely think it's probably the best first season as a world champion in modern memory.
For a long time, probably since Hendry, in all honesty. Maybe Selby when he won in 2014. I think he probably had a decent season after that, just with the time of that was Selby's time, wasn't it? You know, he won 3 World Championships in 4 years. He was world number 1 for something like 5 or 6 seasons consecutively. He was the dominant force. So I would imagine he would have won a decent number of tournaments that season. But he was already sort of established as a player that can win any Triple Crown event. I think Kairen has really sort of pushed on his status within the game to being at that absolute elite level now, and he's up there completely with the likes of Judd Trump and Selby, Robertson, Ronnie, Mark Williams, and John Higgins. Probably is the ultimate benchmark of the sport at the moment.
Yeah, it just is such a huge. We've said it already this season, but what a contrast it is with Luca. You know, and I think Luca reached 1 final when it was like a non-ranking event, or maybe he reached 2 non-ranking rank. Maybe
I think he got the Shanghai. Yeah, something like that.
But Kairen's really, kicked on and done incredibly well, and but he didn't win the most recent tournament, which I believe took place very close to you, Joe.
It did in Manchester, obviously Tour Championship, and you might remember last season I went to the final and had a great time watching Ronnie and Mark battle it out. So we very quickly, as soon as the tickets came out, we bought them again for this year for the final whole day. And of course, this time it was another couple of world champions, shall we say? It was John Higgins and Mark Selby in the final, which very, very exciting. Obviously, perhaps not the most fluent snooker that you'd ever go and see, but a very different matchup, I think. And actually, if you're going to go and see 2 players that aren't as fluent playing snooker, it's probably Selby and Higgins matching up against each other that you want to see, because they're both as good as each other in all departments. So I was certainly very happy to see both of them. Obviously, we know Ronnie hasn't been playing. Mark Williams is having trouble with his eyesight at the minute, so there's not many out-and-out top players that are out there. I thought Kairen Wilson would probably back up his performance, but he got absolutely hammered, didn't he, by Ding Junhui?
Yeah, I mean, it was strange because it felt like Ding was brilliant one match, then not great the next. It felt like Murphy and Robertson both were pretty much doing exactly the same. Really good one match and then awful the next. Really. And Judd
was hammered by Barry Hawkins as well.
Barry Hawkins, God, he was on fire.
Yeah.
He was on absolute fire. He destroyed Sean Murphy. Do you know what I mean? It was like 10-1 or something?
10-1 against Murphy. I think something like 10-3, 10-4 against Judd Trump. It was ridiculous how well he was playing. But again, Judd was playing some really odd shots, I thought, in that match. I watched quite a bit of that, and there's just certain things, overhit positional shot. It's nothing obvious. I just felt like he was overhitting a lot of shots, and sort of it just looked like he wasn't at all there or focused. It was really bizarre. Like, sometimes you watch Ronnie and you can clearly tell he just wants to be out of there, and will just start throwing his arm at a few shots. It felt like Judd Trump's equivalent of that, but almost like disguising the fact he was doing it. It was really bizarre. I thought. I'd be interested if anybody else watched it and just felt really odd about it. But again, Barry Hawkins played awesome. Lots of century breaks from him, and then he turned up against John Higgins, and Higgins comfortably beat him. It was a strange tournament, really, where there wasn't many close matches other than the final. Every other match was fairly one-sided. I suppose going into the final, they were both playing really, really well, and they actually ended up getting a record number of centuries in the final, or equaling the record for a best of 19, with 8 centuries. So
that's incredible. And you were there, Joe.
I was there. So yeah, it was a good experience to go and see it and go and see those two. I'm not the biggest fan of Selby, but I very much respect that he is a really top player. And what I was really impressed at and actually being there, his cue ball control was incredible yesterday. He went 5-1 down against John Higgins. John Higgins was playing brilliantly. And then he managed to win 7 frames in a row to go 8-5. John Higgins then brought it back to 8-7, which at that point, unfortunately, I did have to leave because the last train out of Manchester is quite early to Stockport. So
no!
Yeah, I know. I am gutted.
Bro!
Yeah.
No, Joe!
I know. But, having to be up early and stuff, it was, it was a tough decision, but one.
Couldn't you just stay overnight with John Higgins or something?
Well, unfortunately not. So, managed to watch the conclusion at home, which was nice. But no, it was really good. It was great to watch. Higgins was awesome to see live. Means I've completed my personal little class of '92 collection. I've seen all of the class of '92.
Does that include Joe Perry?
It does actually, and Dominic Dale. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. So Dominic Dale was part of the match I watched first with Ronnie, but on the other side of the arena was Stephen Hendry playing Joe Perry, so I did get to see a little bit of Joe Perry. So there
beautiful
you go.
Stuff. There we go.
There you go. You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't. No.
Just a few little fun bits from the day. Obviously, they have the fan zone there. We did take a step out. But just a little thing about the arena in Manchester. It's a fantastic venue. The seating is awful. So, you've got no leg room. Everybody is sort of squashed together. It is very uncomfortable. So after 3 frames, we sort of sat on a row. There's probably room for 8 people, but there was only sort of 6 of us on the row, and 4 were sort of stuffed right to the side. So nobody could move. So we took a step out after frame 3, just to, and they've got a big screen. But who do I see while I was out there? But Rob Walker. So now.
Did you get a picture with him? Did you give him a hug? Did you touch him?
I would have done. So I said, "Oh, Rob, hiya." We had a chat.
Hiya, Rob. Right.
We had a little
chat
chat. We chatted about the match, and he was like, "Oh, it's a really good match so far," and this, that, and the other. And I was like, "Oh, should we get a picture?" And then I was like, "Oh no, my phone's off." And he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Come find me in 10 minutes or whatever and we'll have a picture." But then I never got round to actually getting a picture with him.
He was probably waiting there.
No, he was. He was doing some piece for ITV, so he was quite busy. But yeah, I talked to Rob Walker, so there you go.
I'm so jealous.
He honestly, really nice guy. He was exactly as you expect him to be.
Oh dear.
Which is well, no, he's just exactly the same as he's got that enthusiasm, but he is just really nice. Yeah. So if you do see Rob Walker round about anybody, then give him a shout. But yeah. So talk to Rob Walker. But overall, great day. Looking forward to the Crucible in a few weeks' time. So
there we go. And talking about the Crucible, we do, of course, have the qualifiers. Now, one of our listeners, Ian, was telling me he's going to the qualifiers and he's very excited. He did ask if we were going. We're both not, because Sheffield's quite far away to go watch the qualifiers for us. But it's a shame it's not broadcast, or it is, but it's on Discovery Plus, which is far too expensive. It's a shame it's not easily accessible, to be honest, to qualifiers this year.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to jump into our predictions?
Yeah, let's go for it. So, in previous years, the way we have done it, we both picked 16 qualifiers. A little bit similar to the shootout, although we can duplicate, because it would be ridiculous for us both to pick 2 or 16 unique players. So we are gonna sort of pick teams, if you like, or just predict who is going to win out of each section of the qualifying draw. Obviously, there's huge names in there, the likes of Jimmy White, of course, having another crack at it. We've got the likes of Stuart Bingham in there, all the way to the likes of Stephen Maguire, Tapchayo Nu, Joe O'Connor, who did awesome in a tournament earlier this year. I think was it the World Open final he got to against Higgins. That was an awesome match. Ryan Day, of course. So there's some big names down there in the qualifiers, and some perhaps playing their last ever matches on tour. We'll talk about them as we get there, but we'll sort of work through a section at a time. So we'll start off with the top section. And in the top section, Tom, we've got Hamid Mir, Huang Jihao, Aman Iqbal, Rory Thor, who's a popular one of yours, Daniel Wells, Gary Wilson, and Dominic Dale. So talk me through your thought processes with that top section.
Well, already we know it's the first result of qualification. Hamid Mir has beaten Jonas Luz 10-0.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either Hamid Mir was in great form, possibly, or Jonas Luz is probably not the best player on tour, to be fair. So, yeah, some big names. I mean, Gary Wilson, of course, relatively recently did very well at the Crucible. Dominic Dale is the first of those names who could be playing his last ever match. Well, he will play his last ever match over the next month. It might be the World Championship final. We don't know, but he will play.
Yes, he's going to do a Nico Rosberg and win the World Championship and then retire straight away.
I would love to see that. But yes, I don't know. Who are you going for, Winky?
Winky. By the way, we never really talked about who on earth Winky is. Who's Winky?
I was watching the Snooker 900, and there's a player called Neil Winkworth, and apparently his nickname is Winky.
And he could have at least been called Tinky, They could have been Tinky Winky.
I'll email him, Neil Winkworth, and
ask him to be funny. Tinky Winky Winkworth.
Because on commentary they kept going, "Oh, that's a good shot by Winky." They kept calling him it.
Well, there you go. I'm looking at... I'm just moving swiftly on now. Daniel Wells is obviously a top player. Whether he can beat Dominic Dale and Gary Wilson, I'm not entirely sure. You would imagine Gary Wilson is going to make it through. I think Dominic Dale has checked out, unfortunately. So I think, going against every will of my heart, I'm going to go for Gary Wilson in that first section.
I'm going to go. I mean, just because I've made this mistake every single bloody year. I make this mistake. I go, let's go for a funny character because it's their last chance. Last year, I went for Fergal O'Brien. He lost against Mustafa Dorgum or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
But this year, yes, I have to go for Dominic Dale because it's the space sausage. We have to go for him. He's going to lift off. He's going to travel all the way to the Crucible in his rocket ship.
Good luck, Tom. I think that's... possibly round one in the bag for me, but that relies on Gary Wilson actually winning, which might not happen. It might not happen. We've seen big shocks in the qualifiers before, so do not expect it to be just the 16 seeds that get through. Let's have a look at the next section then. We have got Amir Sarkosh from Iran. We've got Matuj Baranovsky, Artemis Zijins, who, of course, we talked about before, Dylan Emery, Ishpreet Singh Chadha, Joe Perry, Zhao Yulong, and Yuan Si Jun in this section. So quite a stacked section, actually, because Ishpreet Singh Chadha has had a decent season, actually. He's got through to quite a few last 16s, maybe some quarterfinals in there as well. So he's not somebody to be taken for granted, I don't think.
Yeah, well, and different, like most of these draws, there'll be very different levels of experience, because like Amir is a rookie, his first season on tour, the same for Artemis Seasons, but then Joe Perry is, another name who might be playing his last game, his last, I think he said if he drops off he will retire, so unless he comes through this, but I mean, maybe you would fancy him against Artemis Seasons or Dylan Emery. I don't know. But Joe Perry's not been practicing, though, actually. So maybe he'll just...
Yeah, again, I think Joe Perry's checked out. I don't think he wants to play anymore. Yeah, I always think it's a bit of a strange situation when they've already kind of said that they don't want to play anymore. Yeah, I don't see his motivation to get there. Obviously, to play at the Crucible one more time, I guess would be something special for somebody like Joe Perry. Dominic Dale obviously got his swan song last year at the Crucible. But you've also got Zhou Yulong and Yuan Si Jun in there. Mm-hmm. I struggle to see it happening. He's got to win 3 best of 19 matches in a row. That's tough to do.
I'm stunned that Yulong is apparently seeded 32.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was just outside the top 16 at the start of the year.
Yeah. I think it's quite stacked in between 17 and 48, actually. I think there's a lot of really good players up there. I mean, I've just seen Ricky Walden, for instance, number 40, Jack Lazowski, 25, There's quite a lot of players that are reasonably low in the rankings, but could, go and win the World Championship if they get on a bit of a run. I'm going to think outside the box here, and I'm actually going to go for Ishpreet Singh to perhaps be the first Indian to play at the Crucible. I'm not entirely sure that's true, but I do like him. I've watched him quite a bit this season. I do like him. I'm gonna give him my backing.
If it is him, I think he's someone who used to be like an esports gamer or something like that during.
Well, there you go. So he's gonna be my idol. As two fellow snooker esporters,
I think Ishpreet has got a good shout of making it, but I don't think I can look past Zhao Yulong. I just think he's got the quality, he's got the class, and he strikes me as one who might just suddenly find something when he needs it.
I think that's a sensible choice. Yuan Si Jun as well probably would have been one of the favourites to get through. So yeah, and I mean, don't write off the likes of Dylan Emery or Artemis Zizins. They can make a bit of a run at this. I think we've seen Michael Holt do it last year, didn't we? Getting all the way from the first round. We'll see.
Well,
we'll see how it goes. James Cahill, of course, yeah. All right, on to the next section then. We have got Chris Totten against Mitchell Mann, Anthony Kowalski against Ryan Evans, Liu Hongyu, Zach Shurity, Ricky Walton, and Jack Lazowski.
Well, I mean, obviously Jack's the big name that'll jump out from people. Obviously, top 16 player for a number of years, has slipped down this year. A lot of people will just look at that and pick him straight away, and I can understand why. But I wouldn't rule out Ricky Borden. I also wouldn't rule out Zach Shirty, to be honest. I think he's been very decent this season.
Yeah, he got to a semi-final, didn't he? And was that at the World Open?
Yeah, I think he made a 1-7 break at a different tournament.
I think he lost in a decider against John Higgins, so, very, very close to being in the final of that event. So, yeah, don't count him out. He'll be full of confidence. That'll probably have been the last time he played, actually, on the tour. So, yeah, in decent form. I wouldn't be too scared of playing Jack Klosowski, actually. I think... he's not in the best of form this season. He's going to play an open game. You'll get chances against Jack Klosowski. It's just going to be about taking them. As much as Ricky Walden is one of my absolute favourite players, I don't think I'm going to back him this time, just on sort of form. I think I've been swayed here. I'm going to go for surety on that one.
Ooh, exciting. I mean, I was going to go for him as well, and now I feel like you've stolen my answer.
You go for it, Tom. I know that's what your heart says.
Okay, I'm going to go for Zach Sure for men, T.
Sure for men, roll on. Roll on the intro.
Roll on surety. Here we go. Let's go for Zach Surety. Has he got a nickname?
Probably. It'll be something like Zacky Zack or something. No, I don't think he does. It doesn't say that. Right, okay, on to the next section. We have got Wang Yukin against Brian Sinney. Dwayne Jones against Florian Nussel. Graham Dott. Mahai Long, Robert Milkins, and Hossein Vafai. Could well be a final tournament for Graham Dott. Just if results don't go his way, he is somebody that could drop off the tour.
I don't see him losing to Wang Yuchen or Brian Sinney, though. Do you?
I don't know. I'm not certain I've seen Graham Dott win a match for a long time. So, how's his season been? Let's have a little look. He's. I don't think he's done that much, actually. He's maybe won 4 matches all season, so
okay.
It's a tough one. He got the 4th round of the Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters, so last 16 of that. He got the last 64 of the British Open and the last 64 of the Shootout. But other than that, he has not won any other match this year.
Okay, I mean, that's not great.
No.
And Robert Milkins has also had a pretty dreadful season.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's going to be much fear here. Hossein Vafai's not done a lot. Mahai Long, a decent player, Mahai Long. Dwayne Jones is a decent player. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go Dotty.
Where's the logic? Where's the logic at all?
There's no logic other than I would like to see Graham Dott qualify for the Crucible again.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna go with the milkman, Robert Milkins.
Okay.
I think he plays well when he's an underdog, and so maybe he'll,
Yeah.
It'll be Hossein Vafai now. I just know it, but there we go.
Okay, on to the next section. We have got Liam Graham, Fergal Quinn,
Graham.
Robbie McGuigan, Hatem Yassan, Ross Muir, Mark Davis, Tom Ford, and Ben Wollaston. And Ben Wollaston, we talk about this every year. He's just a guy that's just consistently ranked in the 40s. You never ever see him in the latter stages of a tournament. It's such a bizarre one, isn't it? Let's have a little look at his season. So, we were talking about Graham Dott there. Graham Dott. Last 64. Quarter-final of Saudi Arabia, I think. Last 32, last 128, last 32, last 64. He's had a few last 32s and last 64, but nothing crazy. Actually, he got to round 5. Round 5 was the last 32, so Graham Dott only got to the last 48 in Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, it hasn't got past the last 48 of a tournament this season. And I've just backed him to get to the Crucible, so there you go. But anyway.
It's too late now. It's too late. You've done it.
It is rather. I mean, you look at Tom Ford as being the obvious one there, I think, out of that section.
Yeah, I don't see him having any problem with his side of the draw, really. So it's whether he faces Mark Davis or Ben Wollaston and whether they could get it together. But I'm pretty strongly going to go for Tom Ford. I think the fact he's won a ranking title, he's much higher in the rankings than the others, and he's probably just a better player, to be honest.
Yeah, I can go along with that. I don't see another result happening there. On to the next section, we've got Ben Mertens, Daniel Womersley, Chong Ka-wai, Zhao Xing Tong, Marco Fu, Long Zhu Yang, Elliot Slesser, and Liu Haishan.
I don't think we've ever had in the history of the World Championships an amateur who has previously won a Triple Crown title.
Wow, yeah. Well, other than when John Parrott used to play in the qualifiers every year until about 2016.
An amateur who's still at his peak. Not just some old man turning up like Jimmy White.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, Elliot Slesser would probably be your favourite from that. Marco Fu's had a decent season. It'd be great to see Marco Fu back at the Crucible, wouldn't it? I think I backed Marco Fu last year. But Zhao Xing Tong, you just know he's going to do it, isn't he?
He's got no pressure on him whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's not got ranking points to worry about. He's by far the better player. And he is going to be
a handful at the Crucible as well, isn't he?
He could easily go on the run. Easily. But, he's done it before in big tournaments.
I think I'm going to have to back Xing Tong on that one, Tom. I'd love to see Marco Fu do it. I'd love to. But
I'm going to back Xing Tong, even though I would feel a bit bad if he does make it, because it does feel like...
if he wins the World Championship, he will be the first world champion that's ranked 128 in the world the next season. Because he's surely not going to get to keep any of his points that he's won.
Would they not let him...
Well, they didn't let Jimmy... Well, they didn't let James Cahill do it, or Daniel Wells, I don't think. Unless, I guess he would be in the top 64, wouldn't he? So I wonder if
no, because he's not on the rankings. Amateurs aren't on the rankings. He'd be on the one-year list, but that would just give him a new tour card.
Yeah.
Unless they make an exception and put him on top 64 and they push everyone down. But it does... I think he will qualify, but I wouldn't mind him not, because it does make me feel a bit uneasy, because it feels like he has got, not to go back to Sean Murphy's rant about amateurs, but it really does feel like he's got an insane advantage being this early in the draw.
Yeah, although you feel like if he got to the Crucible, I think that you can't say there's no pressure if he's getting to the semi-final or something. Surely he's going to feel the pressure then. It's not so much the financial pressure or anything at that point. But yeah, I'm going to back Xing Tong. Yeah. And you have as well. So, yeah, we will see. Right, next section, we have got Liam Davis. We've got Ahmed Ali Al-Sayed. Sunny Akani, fan favourite. We've got Krish Gabaksuni, Sanderson Lam, David Grace, Ryan Day, and Nopon Siangham. So, who are you backing out of that one? That looks to me the most open draw so far, I think.
I mean, yeah, like looking at the first few names, like Liam Davis, Al-Sayed, Sunny Akani, and Krish Gerbaskani, like none of them are names who have ever come close to the Crucible. Liam Davis, very young player, very highly rated.
Yeah.
Sanderson Lamb's had a decent season. He's kind of rose up the top 64, but not done anything crazy. Ryan Day is obviously the most experienced. Nopon's been at the Crucible recently, but very hard to call, actually. Very hard.
I'm going to go a little bit outside of the box and go for David Grace in this one.
I'm going to go, partly because he won some qualifiers when he was about 14 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Liam Davis.
Nice one. Okay, on to the next section. We have got Farak Ajab, Bipat Sirapapom, Alexander Ursenbacher, Federer of the Bays, Paul DeVille, Jordan Brown, of course, former Welsh Open winner.
It's Paul DeVille. If he doesn't scare you, no evil thing will.
Jing Zhihao, Martin O'Donnell, Minister of Defence there, and Chris Wakelin, strictly Chris Wakelin, who, can you believe he has not managed to be in the top 16 for this, even though he was at the Masters. That's crazy, isn't it?
I think he must have slipped out literally right in the last tournament or the last couple of tournaments, because he was up there for a long time, so he'll be gutted to have not made it, which would probably make him a favourite of that group. But Martin O'Donnell, he does, as the song goes, Joe, Martin O'Donnell, he's got a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
E-I-E-I-O O'Donnell, yeah. I can't back anybody other than Wakelin there, I don't think.
It's the only time that sentence has ever been said.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Wakelin.
Jordan Brown is an outside bet for not keeping his tour card if he loses his first match. Depending on how other results go, he's not far away from that. He's in the 50s, I think.
Yeah, well, he's not really done anything since winning a ranking title, has he? It's bizarre, really.
He's the Luca Brissell of the Welsh Open, is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So go on then, who are you going for? Are you going for Wakelin?
I'm going for Wakelin me up before you go.
You do like a bit of Chris Wakelin, don't you? So.
I love a bit of strictly Chris Wakelin, yeah?
Right, on to the next section, we have Oliver Lines, Mohammed Shahab, Mansawin Fet My eye cool YI50 there.
Excuse me, Joe, what was that?
Manasawin Haweman is and then we've got Leon Crowley, who I've heard Ken Doherty talking about him actually.
Is Manaswin from South Shields, mate?
Is what?
Is Manaswin from South Shields?
Yeah, he is. We've got Michael Holt. We got Robbie Williams. Stuart Bingham and Fan Zhengji, who I can't believe is actually in the third round of qualifying. That feels bizarre, but I think it's fair to say I know who you're going to be backing out of this, Tom. So
Mohammed Shahab, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, we've got two podcast favourites here. We've got Fan Zheng Email and Stuart Bingham's balls. So, you know.
Well, and you're a big fan of Take That, so.
Of course. We've got to go Bingham, haven't we? We've got to back him.
Always Bingham.
I learned my mistake last year of never to underestimate Stuart Bingham. Right, on to the next one. We have got Andrew Paget. We've got Julian Boyko, Alan Taylor, Joshua Tommond, Louis Heathcote, Jamie Clark, Joe O'Connor, and Jackson Page. Two of the breakout stars, I'd say, of this season, actually.
Yeah, I would say it's possibly pretty open, though, because I think, obviously, Jamie Clark has qualified before. Louis Heathcote's a very
Andrew
decent...
Paget has qualified before, I think.
Yeah, Julian Boyko's a young talent who hasn't quite broken through yet, but...
Yeah.
Apart from Joshua Tomond, Alan Taylor and Boyko, I think any of them could probably do it.
Yeah. I'm going to back Joe O'Connor just because he had a good World Championship last year. He beat Mark Selby. I think he'll want to get back there again. So I'm going to back Joe O'Connor for that one.
I'm gonna back Jamie Clark.
Ooh, nice one.
I think he's got form in qualifiers.
He actually needs to as well because he's ranked 62. So if he doesn't qualify, there's a very strong chance he's going to drop off the tour. So
I think Louis Heathcote and Jamie Clark are both good enough to stay on tour. So I hope they both win their matches because it would be sad for them to drop off.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next section, the one people have been waiting for. We have got Julian Leclerc. We have got Zhao Jinhao. Some guy called Jimmy Brown. Anton
Brown?
Kazakov.
HB Sauce.
Jamie Jones, Ashley Carty, Zhu Si, Pang Jungsu, and of course, for those of us who like it a little bit more serious around here, I was, of course, talking about Jimmy White. The whirlwind of old London town. So, I mean, he's been flying in practice as he has been for the last 20 years, Tom. Will 2025 be the year that Jimmy White returns to the Crucible in a tournament that isn't the World Senior Snooker Championship?
Well, before the recording, Joe was saying to me, I think Jimmy's got a good chance this year.
No, I never said he had a good chance, Tom. I said he's got his best chance yet, is what I said. That doesn't...
Oh.
I think... Other than Pan, I think that is a very winnable section. Personally, for Jimmy White, I would say that's a very winnable section. I think he beats Kazakov. I think he probably beats Carty if he turns up. I think so.
No. The only thing he'd beat him in is a best week competition. That's it.
Hey, it's all natural.
Yeah, as natural as his blood was in the 80s, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm sorry to be a downer on the Jimmy White dreamers. I don't think he's got a shot here. I think he'll beat Kazakov and then Carty will beat him fairly comfortably. And I think I'm going to go for Zhu Shi to qualify.
Ooh. Oh, I feel like I have to actually go for Jimmy now, don't I, to sort of prove my point?
Yes, you do. To go for Jimmy.
Okay, I'll go for Jimmy White. I've given you a free point there. Take it as a sympathy vote. Right. Next section, we've got Mustafa Dorgan, Simon Blackwell, Andrew Higginson, Ryan Thomason, Matthew Stevens, Zhang Jun, Tapchaya Onu, and Wu Yiza. I think it would be a huge shock if it wasn't Wu Yiza from this section, personally.
I mean, yes, I don't even know who Simon Blackwell is. No offence, Simon Blackwell. He's an amateur.
We tend to know pretty niche snooker players, and we've never heard of him, so, yeah.
Hey, if he wants to prove us wrong by qualifying, we'd be very happy to cheer you on. But I
mean, he's got a decent first round against Mustafa Dorga. It's winnable. And then, he's going to get hammered by Matthew Stevens, but... Yeah.
I mean, Tapchaya, what's happened to him to be 43 in the world? He's just never slowed down his game. He's very much the Thai Jack Lisowski.
Yeah. Best mates with Sonny Accardi rather than Judd.
I love Sonny Accardi.
Yeah.
I can't look past Wu Yiza.
I think Wu has been again one of the breakout stars of this season, and I'd love to see him at the Worlds and get a good draw at the Worlds and see what he can do. Right, okay, on to the next one. Only 4 sections left, Tom. We've got Gong Chenzi, Kailen Patel, Hans Tahir, Joshua Cooper, Stuart Carrington, Aaron Hill, Dave Gilbert, and Anthony McGill.
I'll say just to make Simon Blackwell feel better, I've also not heard of Kailen Patel or Joshua Cooper. Is he? No, hold on, Joshua Cooper. I think there's someone in. I read there's someone in the draw who's like Sean Murphy's nephew, apparently.
No, that's Stan Moody.
No, genuine, his actual nephew, I think, is in the draw.
Yeah. Wow.
That might be Joshua Cooper, but it doesn't mean he's going to be good at snooker. So
no. I mean, your gut would go for Gilbert or McGill here, wouldn't it? But I'm gonna think outside the box again. I'm gonna go for Aaron Hill this time. I think the Crucible specialists of Gilbert and McGill are finally going to come unstuck in qualifying.
I mean, yeah, because I think there is part of you as a snooker fan, when you're doing these predictions, part of you goes, well, the most likely is Gilbert or McGill, but then there is part of you that goes, yeah, but I would like to see someone make their debut and someone new to come through, and I think Aaron Hill was a decent shout, to be honest, because he's very much up and coming. He's probably had his best season on tour. Would be nice to see another Irish player make it through.
Yeah.
But I think Gilbert's going to be just too strong.
Okay. Wow. So we are both backing Anthony McGill to not qualify for the Crucible. Okay. On to round 14. We have got Liam Pullen against Gao Yang, Hayden Pinney and Ken Doherty, Tian Pengfei, who is very likely to drop off the tour, David Lilly, of course, the Tyneside sausage there, Stephen Maguire, and Lee Pai Fan, of course, Scottish Open winner, who is still ranked 39 in the world.
Mad. Absolutely mad, isn't it? I mean, every year I pick David Lilly because I'd love to see him do it. I think it'd be one of snooker's great stories for someone to turn pro in their 40s and then still reach the Crucible. And he was close against Ding a few years ago.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
But then, Ken, crafty Ken. No, I'm gonna stay loyal to the Tyneside sausage.
to the big sausage, yeah.
Big sausage Lily.
Now, you hear every year Jimmy White's flying in practice.
Yeah.
Ken Doherty has a new cue. Now, you will know the story, I'm sure, about Ken and his £2 cue that he's had all his life. He won the World Junior Championship, the World Amateur Championship, the World Professional Championship with this. In the last couple of months, he has got a new cue. He's given it one last whirl, I think, because he's got another year of his wild card. And you might remember he got to the last 32 of the German Masters recently. So I think he's absolutely flying his Crafty Ken. I've just been watching him in a best of 5 against Stephen Hendry on the Q-Tips channel, and both of them are struggling to make 30 breaks. So, of course, I am naturally going to go for Crafty Ken as my qualifier for no other reason other than we need to see him back at the Crucible.
Well, he might have the old luck of the Irish, as Dennis would say.
Poor Stephen Maguire didn't even get a mention there. Even though Stephen Maguire is almost guaranteed to win this section, we didn't even mention him.
No, we were distracted by our favourites, you know.
But in all seriousness, it'll probably be Stephen Maguire. It probably will be.
I'm so glad we don't put money on this, Joe.
Yeah. Lee Pyfan, I mean, you know, again, he could do it. Who knows? Right, anyway, we're going to move on before we change our mind. We've got Bullshoe Ravesh, Stephen Hallworth, of course, returning to the tour. The Lincolnshire sausage, the original Lincolnshire sausage. We've got Dean Young. We've got Mackay Shabashik. We've got Anthony Hamilton, another player that could be playing their last ever professional match. Stan Moody, of course, well fancied going forward. Matt Selt and Jimmy Robertson, who's been very quiet this season as well. But still ranked 31 in the world somehow.
Crazy, isn't it? Like, that's, again, very hard group to pick, to be honest. I know that Mikhail Sabakshik, I don't know how you pronounce it much better than me, but I believe he's the youngest player to ever take part in the qualifiers. I think he's only like 14 or 13 or something like that. Yeah. He's going to turn pro next year. And decent chance of him getting the win against Dean Young, to be honest. So I could see him taking Liam Davis's record as youngest person to win a match. Don't think I see him getting past Stan Moody, though. I mean, I could see Hallworth getting to Judgment Day, you know.
Ooh.
I think he's going to be more.
He'll probably beat Bullshoe.
Yeah,
he's got a very good chance against Anthony Hamilton, and then Matt Selt is the one where you go.
If Hallworth could turn up with a mask of Artemis Seasons on his face, and that would immediately make Matt Selt furious.
Yeah,
and he'll storm out, and then you'll win by default.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
go on. Who are you going to back?
Yeah, I'm going to back the Lincolnshire sausage.
Ooh. Well, there you go. Right, I've gone Stan Moody. I do think he will have a decent run at a tournament very, very soon. And I think it could well be the World Championship.
Yeah, if he does, he'll be the snooker Luke Littler, which we do probably need as a sport, so that would be ideal. No pressure, Stan.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to our final qualifier. We have Bayou Lu, Liam Highfield, Ian Burns, Mink, He Garquang, Alfie Burton, Scott Donaldson, and Ali Carter.
Wow, now he has been flying because he likes flying. Nothing to do with practice. Maybe that's what Jimmy's been doing. He's just been flying with Ali Carter in an aeroplane. Who knows? But
he's doing his practice on one of Ali Carter's planes. Yeah.
I've been
That's
flying.
probably
All
what
right,
the
Jimmy.
problem is. Yeah. He's too busy practicing during free fall. So
Just Ken going, come on, Jimmy, get out of that helicopter. Come on, come down right now, Jimmy.
And two of our female players as well in this section.
Mm-hmm.
A shame actually that they're not playing each other. That would have been fun to have a guaranteed female victor. I mean, Bayou Lu has done all right on tour this season. Actually, obviously won 3 matches at the UK Championship. You know, Liam Highfield is a tough opponent, I think.
Yeah, I think if it was Bayou Lu against someone like a Dean Young or Revesque, she'd have a shot. I think Highfield's probably a bit too match smart and a bit too experienced.
Yeah, yeah.
But
you know, I mean, obviously you look at Ali Carter and you think that is a shoe-in, really, for that section. But I'm actually going to go for he, I think. I'm going to go a little bit out of the box with that.
I'm going to go
qualifier.
I'm going to go for the obvious choice. Right?
Who is?
Alfie Burden.
Are you actually going Alfie Burden?
Yep.
Oh, wow. There you go. Right. So that brings us to the end of our qualifiers. I will recap who we have backed. So get ready for it. Tom has backed Dominic Dale, Zhao Yulong, Zach Surety, Rob Melkins, Tom Ford, Zhao Xing Tong, Liam Davis, Chris Wakelin, Stuart Bingham, Jamie Clark, Zhu Se, Wu Yiza, Dave Gilbert, David Lilly, Stephen Hallworth, and Alfie Burden. I have backed the following.
I got silly at the end, Joe. They were all so good, and then I went, "Oh, let's go for the sausage. Let's go for Burden." I always do this.
You've gone for David Lilly, Stephen Hallworth, and Alfie Burden as your final 3.
If all 3 of those make it, Joe, I will buy you the Stephen Hendry action figure. Oh,
we've got a deal. Gary Wilson, I've gone for Ishpreet Singh. Zach Surety, Graham Dort, Tom Ford, Zhao Xing Tong, David Grace, Chris Wakelin, Stuart Bingham, Joe O'Connor, Jimmy White, Wu Yuza, Aaron Hill, Ken Doherty, Stan Moody, and he.
You can't judge me when you've gone for Jimmy White and for Ken.
I know. And Graham Dort. But let us know in the comment section who are your 16 qualifiers. Obviously, we will review this, and basically we get the number of points of what round they reached. That is the points that they will get if they won a match. If they don't win a match, they get 0, just like the world ranking prizes. So I'm excited. Last year, Tom, there was 1 point in it. And you won it by 1. You won it by 1 point last year.
He's in form. He is in form.
Yeah, he is in form. So there you go. We will see. What happens going forward. So yeah, let us know down in the comment section. Before we get into our regular segments, Tom, there is one thing I want to show you, and this came through with our fan Zheng email last time, so I thought we'd spend a little bit of time on that. So just to catch you up, we've had, so this is different to what I want to show you, but we've had an email from the Snooker Therapy podcast, who said, "Hi there, chaps. I hope you're well. Big fan of your podcast, but this isn't a fanboy email. They've started a new podcast." They've started a new podcast called the Snooker Therapy Podcast, exploring the therapeutic benefits of snooker. This is a different angle discussing benefits that some/many professionals might no longer feel. Obviously, the recent mental health discussion by Mark Selby and Ronnie O'Sullivan highlighted the challenges faced by professional sportsmen and women. However, far too many at grassroots level playing, or for many, sorry, at grassroots level, playing snooker is therapeutic in a number of ways. Feel free to give it a listen and shout it out to raise awareness. Would be wonderful if that's at all possible. It's available on most podcast platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's called the Snooker Therapy Podcast, and that is from Alex, who works there. So we will definitely check that out. No doubt about it. And there is your shout out. Hopefully people will go and check it out. So thank you for that. But this one, it's our good friend, Mr. Banks again. Who has got in touch, and he has sent us a little quiz. Now, there's no answers to this quiz, so we can just say that we got all of this right.
The best kind of quiz.
The best kind of quiz. I am going to send you this picture. Don't look at it just yet. It's on oh, no, that's the wrong thing. Sorry, Tom. I've just sent you a random link there to the World Snooker Championship qualifiers.
2025 World Snooker Championship. Thank you, Joe, for sending this over. This is very useful.
Yeah. Don't look at it just yet. Let me read what what it's all about, and then you can have a little look yourself. So. Banksy says, "Hi fellas, big thanks to the listener who emailed in saying how much he liked the Rob Walker track. I don't know. Have I lost you, Tom? Are you still there?
What happened there?
I can't see you anymore. Oh, there we go. He's back. He's back.
I don't know
anyway.
whether it cut out on my Discord for some reason, but just start that bit again with the...
Yeah, so he said, "Hi fellas, big thanks to the listener who emailed in saying how much he liked the Rob Walker track, and thanks to you two for continually bigging it up. I didn't mention it to Rob Walker, unfortunately. I didn't have time. I was going to. I'm going to the Crucible next month and love the idea of pressing some CDs with the silly artwork I designed and leaving them around the Crucible for people to find, or giving them to players/telly people to see if we can get Rob himself to hear it. So I'll start looking into that immediately. In the meantime, I thought I'd have a bit more fun in Photoshop, and I've produced a silly visual quiz for you to do as part of Cue the Laughter. So I think we can do we can do it as a sort of bonus since it's a bit of a special episode. I was watching John Higgins versus Chris Wakeland the other day, and I started to think of all the bald snooker players. Turns out there's quite a lot of them. So I thought, why should Neil Robertson have all the hair? Let's give these guys some too. So that's what I've done. Here are 12 bald or nearly bald snooker players who've been given the premium hair clinic in Bulgaria to receive 12 of the most memorable barnets from the history of snooker. All you have to do is guess whose hair. So, Tom,
no.
this is quite brilliant. Now, I'm going to just put it up on the screen for people, because I think it is just absolutely brilliant. And we are going to play this game, and I thought the way we could do it, Tom, is this can be a bit of a two-parter. I'm trying to work out what the best place to put these. I'm going to put them right in the middle of us, right? So
this is Stuart Beam. It's like Justin Bieber.
So this is whose hair. So a big thanks to Banksy for putting this across to us. I thought we could give our answers to it, sort of discuss what we think. The viewers can put whatever. Hopefully Banksy will listen to this podcast and give me the answers so we can say next time what the answers were. I don't know what your thoughts were to that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's look at Luca Brissell. Looking at that hair there, I mean, Or should we do it in a little bit of a different order of which ones are the most obvious? Because I think there are some that are fairly obvious.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, let's do that. So, is there any that are screaming out to you of obvious?
I mean, Elliot Slessor, that... I presume that Paul Hunter is the only person who had that haircut in snooker history.
I agree. So let's go for Hunter for D, and we'll see how many we get out of 12 here.
He's probably one of the last kind of rock star snooker players in that he had the whole sort of image, didn't he? I don't think anyone since him has ever really had that. I mean, Judd had this silly hair, which I presume is the hair that they've currently put on Chris Wakelin.
Well, I thought that, but then could it be Liam Highfield?
Oh, it could be Liam Highfield. Oh, I think you're right, Joe.
Yeah, I think it's Liam Highfield. Well, I mean, we can go for different if you want.
Do you know what?
I'm going to go Liam
with...
Highfield.
Okay, I'll go with Judd just so we have both covered. But I think, that could be.
So... Right. So what letter was that?
E.
E. So you're going Judd, Trump, and I'm going Highfield for that.
This has taken 20 years off John Higgins, mate. It's beautiful.
Now I think I know who that is.
That's Niall from One Direction, isn't it?
I believe it is Neil Robertson.
I was going to say Robbo as well. Yeah.
Now, there's one that's took my eye.
But can we have
Joe
Robbo
Perry.
twice then?
Well, no, I think. Oh, it could be. Yeah. I think Joe Perry is Dominic Dale.
Yeah, I think so. I think the gentleman has got into a spaceship.
And yeah, I agree. The one left of
Matt Sell looks like lockdown Robbo.
Is Robbo, yeah.
When he had it in the lockdown, it was all crazy.
Lockdown Robbo. I think we will do this as Cue the Laughter, actually, Tom, because this is great. We can save our other Cue the Laughter for another time.
I mean, he's not given poor old Barry Hawkins much hair, has he?
Now, Peter Ebdon, is that Tony Knowles, do we think? Or is Tony Knowles darker than that?
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Because it could be Neil Folds. It could be Neil Folds as well.
It had to be one of those from the 80s, doesn't it? Yeah, should we go Tony Knowles?
Yeah, okay. Tony Knowles.
Barry Hawkins.
I mean, you can go somebody different if you think it's somebody different.
No, I would just know it as one of those from the 80s, but I think Tony Knowles is a decent shout.
Now, Barry Hawkins.
That's Dracula, isn't it?
I thought so, but then if you look to the right, it's a bit ginger. But I don't know if that's just the picture. But yeah, I thought it was Dracula as well.
I thought it was Reardon.
Yeah. Okay. Hossein Vafai. It actually suits Hossein Vafai. He looks completely normal there.
He looks quite happy about it, doesn't he, in his little face?
He does.
He's rocking it.
So go on then, who are you going for that?
Is that 80s, late 80s Jimmy White?
I thought so, yeah, Jimmy White. The only other one it could be is Joe Johnson, possibly, but I don't. I think it's more just Hossein Vafai looks a bit like Joe Johnson in that picture. So.
What a compliment that is.
Yeah, but I'm going to go Jimmy there. So that leaves us Gary Wilson, I mean, Bracel. Do we know who Bracel is?
I don't know whether that's like 2004 Ronnie.
Yeah, could be Ronnie. I think Anthony McGill is Ronnie.
But he looks ginger again. Has he changed the colour a bit to make it harder?
He might have done.
Because they could both.
I think that's Ronnie. I'm going to go Ronnie for G, definitely. Whether you do or not, I don't know.
Well, I thought Ronnie for A when I saw it. Unless it's almost like
Ronnie.
Rob Walker's hair. He couldn't have, could he?
I mean, it could be Tom Ford as well.
Oh, it could be, because he is basically Rob Walker. Okay, I'm going to go with you. G has to be Ronnie, because no one else has had long hair apart from, like in that style. And A, I'm wondering whether it is Rob Walker for a joke.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go for his identical twin, Tom Ford. Gary Wilson. Right, who's Gary Wilson? Is it Davis?
I mean, yeah, what other ginger players are there?
Is it Davis? Yeah, I think that's Davis. This is so hard without the answers. I mean, the answers are probably upside down somewhere, but...
Yeah, can we turn it over somehow?
Yeah.
And look at the back.
Now, Stuart Bingham, I've got somebody in my mind for this one.
Well, I think 147 is his idea of heaven.
Ah, okay, that is not who I was thinking of.
Who do you think?
I thought it was Terry Griffiths, but...
His suit's big. I mean, he could be in a boy band with that haircut.
So you're going for Higgins?
I'm going for
obviously
Alex Higgins.
Alex Higgins, not John Higgins.
Yeah, not John Higgins.
Because he's a contestant in this for being bald.
I mean, Banksy, if you want to take the hair off other snooker players, or we can do it reverse. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah. Who are you going for B? Are you going for Steve Davis?
Yeah, I'm going Davis for B, and C, I'm going with... Alex Higgins was the first name that came to mind, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, stick with it. So, just as a recap, for A, you have gone Rob Walker.
This should genuinely... Banksy, you should genuinely pitch this to WST, because this should be in like the World Snooker Programme. Yeah. This is something you could do. You're in an interval, you're bored, you do this. This is brilliant.
This is brilliant, yeah.
You know, they go,
Steve Davis.
Hazel, who do you think A is? Oh, I don't know, John. Do you know what I mean? It'd be brilliant. They could play along in the studio.
Yeah. B, Steve Davis. C, Alex Higgins. D, Paul Hunter. E, Judd Trump. F, Tony Knowles. G, Ronnie O'Sullivan. H, Robertson. I, Robertson. J, Dominic Dale. K, Ray Radin. And L, Jimmy White. I have gone for Tom Ford for A, Steve Davis, Terry Griffiths, Paul Hunter, Liam Highfield, Tony Knowles, Ronnie, Neil Robertson, Dominic Dale, Ray Reardon, and Jimmy White.
And I will say he's chosen 12, so I think someone's going to plan a calendar, clearly, based on these.
Well... To be honest, it tends to be the case that whatever we suggest on this podcast, Banksy seems to put it together for us. So he makes our dreams a reality. But there you go. Thanks for that once again, Banksy. We really do appreciate it. And that was a brilliant segment. I genuinely thought it would be like a quick 30-second thing where we would talk about it, but it's turned into a whole segment. That could be a completely brand new segment on our show. It could be Who's Hair. It could well be Who's Hair. And I think that could be something that is amazing. So hopefully Banksy gets in touch with the answers, and I will reveal those in our big World Championship preview, which will be coming up next week. So that is exciting. There you go. Shall we cue the music, Tom?
Well, did you want to do your cue the laughter? Or
No, we'll leave the cue the laughter. I think that is sufficient cue the laughter, Tom. We'll do the other cue the laughter next week for our big bumper showdown.
Well, this episode's Cue the Music, Joe, is not... it's not something that is from YouTube. It's not something that I've stumbled upon on Spotify. This is from the BBC Wales. This is from Joe, from 2017.
Wow.
And I've popped you the link if you want to have a click.
Ooh. Oh, my word. Right, okay. Oh, God. Is this going to be Ronnie's first entry into this? We were talking about this last time, weren't we? About how we hadn't found anything from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Yeah. So you've scoured the internet, Tom, and you found, and I quote, Players' Championship, Ronnie O'Sullivan sings Oasis's Wonderwall in interview.
Yeah.
5-time world champion Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks into a rendition of Oasis hit Wonderwall during an interview with BBC Wales's Gareth Blaney following his quarter-final defeat by Judd Trump at the Players' Championship in Llandudno. Should we get into it, Tom? I don't know if you've listened to this before.
No, I've saved it. I've saved it for this.
Oh, my God. Right.
Here
we go, then. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
How frustrating was it after you came back so well with that century break to lose out to Judd?
Very.
What did you make of your own performance?
Decent.
Judd, in fairness, seemed to pot a lot of balls from distance. What did you make of his performance?
Usual.
I mean, he's a pretty talented player, isn't he?
Very.
He's been informed this season.
Totally.
So, how do you reflect on the match as a whole?
Don't know really.
I mean, you seem to take a while to get going.
Maybe. Baby, there's got to be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. What do you think of my lyrics? Is it good?
So, how do you look back at the tournament and what you've done here?
Try not to.
So onto the China Open. What are your thoughts looking ahead to that and looking a bit further ahead, of course, to the World Championship?
Looking forward to it.
Oh, my word. Wow. He's a so-and-so, isn't he, Tom? He really is.
That's a particularly Mardy interview with Ronnie there, but he did sing a little bit of Wonderwall.
He did, yeah. I mean, that's going to be one of our toughest to rank that, because I still think that is better than half of the things we've listened to over the years. So, yeah. Oh, my word. What are we going to do? What are we going to do for this? How did you stumble across that, Tom?
I just was searching Ronnie O'Sullivan singing. I thought there must be something. He's been around long enough. He must have sung something at some point, and maybe it was him doing karaoke, or maybe it was him warming, in the going through his pre-match routine or something. And
yeah,
and I found that, and I mean, it's not a full song.
Yeah,
sadly.
Yet,
and he does afterwards.
It could happen.
He does afterwards go, "What do you think of my lyrics?" And it's like, they're not really your lyrics, Ronnie, but okay.
No,
fair enough, mate.
No. He's a strange guy, isn't he, Ronnie? Yeah. But, that's Ronnie for you, isn't it? I think because he's very rude to the interviewer, I can't really give him too much here. But he did sing it. It was funny, which does give him something. I'm going to give him a 4.5, I think.
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, I did think his vocals weren't that far off the Gallagher brothers, to be honest.
That is true.
But yeah, he was. It's not the best light you can show Ronnie in, I think. You know. And again, I don't want to rate it too highly because it's not a whole song and he's not recorded it officially yet. You know, if we get the studio version, different story.
Yeah.
But for now, you know, the greatest snooker player of all time, yes. The greatest snooker musician of all time, I'm afraid not. I think I'm going to have to give Ronnie a 3.
A 3? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that to be your score. But there you go. So Ronnie gets an average score of 3.75, and that puts him... hang on a minute. I just need to sort our league table, Tom, which was very kindly put together, by the way, by Matt. Hope you're well, Matt, if you're listening at home. That puts him at number 44, just behind Hazel Irvine. So there you go.
But not actually Hazel. It's a song named after Hazel.
Yes.
Just in case anyone at home was going, what, Hazel sang? No, Hazel hasn't sung a song yet.
Yeah, not yet, but we're working on it. One day she will. But there you go. So that brings us towards the end of another podcast, Tom. And it is always good to be back. And hopefully people at home have enjoyed it. Let us know your 16 qualifiers down below in the comments. Get in touch on Fan Zheng email at snookerloopypodcast@gmail.com. Listen on Spotify. Subscribe to the channel. We have got our daily podcast returning for the World Championship. It's going to be very, very exciting. Our next podcast will be the big World Championship preview, where we will know all of the 16 qualifiers. We will know the draw for the World Championship. It's all going to be very, very exciting, and I can't wait for it. And it's going to be an amazing couple of weeks, Tom.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing how many answers we've inevitably got wrong, because we always, we always do. But there's always it's always nice to see some surprises and some new qualifiers and some old names coming through, and so it's always a very exciting time as we get the whole lineup for the Crucible sorted, and then we get to see who they play, and you know, we can discuss the draw at nearer the time. But it's just so exciting when all the puzzle pieces come together. That's when you really just go like, here we go.
And we should hopefully have an idea of whether Ronnie O'Sullivan is going to be playing. He has said he's going to make his decision around about the 17th or 18th of April. So that is a couple of days before the World Championship. So we might hold off until at the least maybe the Thursday evening. The draw's usually made on the Thursday morning. So we'll probably hold off till the Thursday evening before we do it. We don't want to be stung like we were at the Masters, where we talked all about Ronnie, for him to just pull out. But I guess if we have to, we'll do two sort of alternate scenarios of, if Ronnie plays, this will happen. If he doesn't, then of course this will happen, because they're not going to replace him with anybody. So
no, it'll be like I think it'll be very much like 2020, where Anthony Hamilton had to withdraw for COVID reasons, and they just gave Kairen Wilson a bye. They'll just do that again. Yeah.
No, that'll be exactly what happens. But as I say, it's going to be really exciting. If you think there's anybody that would enjoy the podcast, please share it around. We really want to grow. It was actually really gutting for me. I noticed they did the World Cup of podcasts again, and we weren't even in it this time, Tom, because I think we've just gone off the radar so much. So we need to get back on it. Yeah, we weren't even in the World Cup this year, so we couldn't give Stephen Hendry's podcast a beating. But we're going to be back next year, and we're going to win it. We didn't qualify this time, but we are going to win it next year. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you now. It will be different over the next 12 months, and I'm looking forward to getting back into our daily podcast for the World Championship. which should be a lot easier this time because we're doing the visual podcast. Last year it took a lot of editing and a lot of late nights for you, didn't it?
It should be a bit quicker.
Hopefully it should be a little bit easier for us this year. So yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too, and of course let us know all of your thoughts down below. Anything else to add, Tom?
Just to remind people to play Whose Hair.
Whose Hair?
Let us know your guesses for that if you have any guesses, or email them in if you like. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing
answers down below.
Yeah, and if anyone gets them right, I don't know whether they will.
Yeah, you never know. There might be some prizes. There might not be. There won't be.
You need to give away, Joe, some of those bloody beer mats that you've got 100 of them.
Yes, and it's a perfectly round number.
It'll be perfectly round if you gave away 50 of them. Sort of, we ran up to 50.
True. Maybe, Tom, if we see each other over the next few months, we'll sign a few, and then we can give those away. Perhaps.
There we go.
Right, okay, folks. We will see you on the next one, I guess. Yes, give one to Hazel.
Beautiful.